After Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4, 1968, U.S. troops stationed at Fort Hood in Killeen, Texas, were sent to Chicago, Illinois, for riot control duty. While no official death toll was ever released, at least 6 black young men were shot, presumably by the police. A few months later, thousands of soldiers stationed at Fort Hood were being prepared again for possible employment in civil disturbance control duty at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. A large number of black soldiers at the base were concerned about racism within the military and the possibility they might be used against civilians in Chicago. On the evening of Friday, August 23rd, after receiving orders to Chicago, over 100 from the 1st Armored Cavalry Division met on the base to discuss the situation. At around midnight, 60 troops staged a non-violent sit-in at a major intersection on the base. They continued to discuss their concerns, drew up a list of grievances, and debated whether they should refuse orders to deploy to Chicago. Private Guy Smith, a Vietnam combat veteran, described the mood of the gathering. A lot of the black GIs knew what the thing was going to be about, and they weren't going to go and fight their own people. At 5 a.m. Saturday morning, the division commander, Major General John C. Bowles, Jr., and members of his staff met with the protesters and discussed their grievances. Time magazine described the general pleading with the recalcitrant troopers, resulting in 17 of them returning to their barracks. But 43 continued the protest. Rather than risk having to oppose soul brothers with bayonets and gas grenades, they were determined to flout their orders and face punishment by military courts. The general then left, promising to talk to his superior officers and return with an answer in the morning. The 43 soldiers relaxed, many falling asleep. In an interview in the documentary film, Sir, No Sir, many years later, Elder Halim Gulabimi, one of the 43, said, "All of a sudden, crack upside the head." He went on to describe the military police, MPs coming at them with bayonets and rifle butts swinging. In the film, he displays the scar from where he was cut by a bayonet. He told how the MPs, after surrounding them, would randomly grab one and take him back in the back and beat the shit out of him. An official military spokesman at Fort Hood described it differently. They were escorted by the military police to the post stockade. The protesting soldiers became known as the Fort Hood 43, and their refusal to deploy to Chicago for riot control duties remains one of the largest acts of civil disobedience ever conducted by members of the American military. Their protest became widely known, and the resulting court-martials were reported nationally in the press. The NAACP helped with their defense, and the Army's Special Civil Disturbance Board worried that these soldiers' actions presaged further such resistance. They were also championed by one of the early anti-war GI coffee houses, the Oleo Strut, which supported the arrested soldiers and helped with their legal defense. Eventually, only 29 were convicted and given relatively light sentences. The GI Underground Newspaper, FTA. Fun Travel Adventure captured the sentiment of many GIs with its comment on the outcome. No one was looking for any justice at the trial. If there was any justice for the enlisted men, there would have been no trial at all.